We're having all kinds of problems.
I learned this from a maintenance guy when I was flying airplanes. It does not work in the OFF position. So, hey, if you own a business, this is your day every Monday, right? Murphy shows up, things are going crazy. You don't know what you're dealing with. The good news is that in post-production, we can fix all this.
So it's just the folks that are live with us that had to go through the stupidity, right?
Hey, Darren's telling us we have no sound. Oh, Darren's here. I want to tell everybody that watches this today, and we appreciate it because we're not everybody here. We're going to be with Darren next Tuesday for the Veterans event with OK Vets that Darren leads to talk about some cool stuff. We're super excited about that. It'll be right after Memorial Day, so stay tuned. Follow the OK Vets page, and Darren, if you put your link in the comments, I'll make sure it gets out to everybody after the show today. So let's get to business, because today, 2 weeks ago, we started talking about leadership and a plan and building your culture. Last week we talked about defining your product and your product development process and what you need to do. And this week, your next step in your business is let people know who you are. What are you doing to market?
Yeah, if they don't know you exist, it doesn't matter what kind of products you have, how good you are, how wonderful your products are, how wonderful your services are. If they don't know you're out there, they can't do business with you. So my battle cry, Dave's battle cry, is nothing happens till something's sold. And that's a truism. You've got to get the word out. You've got to know, or people have to know that you exist.
Absolutely. 100%. There's a lot of ways to do that, right? And technology's made it easier to some extent. We talked about the iOS changes if you're doing advertising, but I'm going to tell you right now, the effort you put in day out to reach out to your audience and talk to them and offer little bits of advice or what's for sale today or what you're doing in your shop to make that connection is huge.
Yeah. Networking's, and I realize the past 15 months has been
tough.
Yeah. But it's still one of the most important things that you can do is get out there, meet people. Doing a lot of that virtually right now, but things have started to open back up, and every opportunity you have to tell your story, to talk about how you can help people, to talk about what the things are that you do that's going to improve a business and the lives of those employees and the lives of those owners is critical. I mean, you've got to get the word out. There's multiple ways to do it. A lot of times people try marketing and they'll just try one thing. Or they'll do just one. They might just do direct mail, or they might just do digital marketing. They might just do workshops, or they might just do a podcast, or they might just do a Facebook Live, or whatever the case may be. You've got to have multiple things going on at one time to get the reach and to get your brand out there.
And I want y'all to think about it like this. The younger generation is getting inundated with the gamification of social media. So how you present how you make people aware about you is important, right? If you just go post up on your page, people typically don't get a notification.
Right.
But for those of you that follow us, today that as soon as we go live, you got to pop up on your feed where it says EXSIN is live. And it made you go, maybe I want to watch that and see what Dave and Phil are up to. Think about the same thing for your business. How do you grow followers on your business page? How do you get them excited about what you're doing, and what is the impact? I can tell you, we work with a client who is an amazing person who has mastered this. And her Facebook Live is extremely consistent. It's daily. They're great discussions. They're short. They're easy to follow. You usually laugh, but it connects her community to her and what she's doing in her business. And I recommend that if you're not doing something like that and you're in a service business or you're selling something to people, grow that relationship, grow that sticky customer.
Yeah, it can't just be about, marketing is not just about, remember the old features and benefits?
Absolutely. You're never going to sell anything.
It's dead, folks. Move past features and benefits, but because everybody's still talking about features and benefits. Yeah. Even in digital marketing, you'll see all they focus on is features and benefits.
Yeah, if you follow Simon Sinek at all and start with why, if you can give people a connection to you that goes deeper into your psychology as opposed to pluses and minuses of your product, you're going to be much more successful than you are just saying, it'll do this, it'll do that, it'll do this. that's old. It's outdated. It's not how we think. It's not how you're wired as a human being, right? So you need to connect with that inner, bigger person, with your customer to understand who you are and why you do what you do.
Yeah. And I think too, there's a lot of folks out there that are scared to jump into the digital marketing space.
Yep.
And there's a lot of reasons for that. A big part of the reason is so many folks, everywhere you turn, there's another expert on how to do digital marketing.
Oh, absolutely.
Everywhere you turn, and they've all got their own little take on it. And I'm, doing it, as in life, doing something with a bad plan is better than having a perfect plan on your table that you never execute. So, you want to get out and try these things. Luckily with social media, there is a lot of stuff you can do that's a low cost entry point, to get things out there. There's other cool things you can do. You can do videos, you can do, whatever the case might be, but, and all you got to do is go and just type in podcasts into a Google search, and you're going to get this inundated with all these podcasts that are out there.
Yeah. And I think the big thing about your awareness, and I'm going to give Darren credit because he's right. Each social media outlet has a different audience and a different customer, right? So if you've developed your ideal client, like we talked about last week, that will help you define where your ideal client lives. If you're doing B2B, your ideal client may not be on Facebook, depending on how big or what product you're selling.
Probably LinkedIn.
If you're doing B2C, Facebook may be your best place, or Snapchat, or Pinterest, or Instagram, wherever you think your customer lies. When you build it out, then test it and look at the results. And what you'll find is, at some point, you'll find out where your ideal client is hiding and hanging out, and they'll start paying attention to what you're doing and who you are.
But you're hitting on a real key point. If you don't know who your ideal client is, you're literally throwing darts with a blindfold on. I mean, you're just hoping something hits. You've got to invest the time when you're preparing for your marketing. You've got to invest the time to identify your ideal client. And then you can take that information and start executing.
One of the things you also need to think about, and we're going to talk about sales next week, but human beings are wired a certain way. And we've talked about it before, that you don't, when you go out to meet somebody at a bar or wherever you go to meet people for a date, you don't walk in and ask for everything up front. Your marketing needs to be the introduction. It needs to be the coffee. It needs to be the first date. It needs to be, how are you stepping into that relationship and building a relationship? It's not one and done with your marketing. It's not one and done with your sales, unless you want to go out of business.
Yeah. I mean, obviously we're talking about the majority of businesses. There are those, like every summer we all get the people knocking on our door selling the cleaner, right? We're not talking about that kind of stuff. I'm talking about with the guys that come with the cleaner in your house and say, hey, watch what this will clean.
The vacuum guys?
They're selling, well, no, it's cleaner. It's cleaner.
I've never seen those guys.
Yeah, they're everywhere. Dave lives in a very fancy neighborhood, so those kind of people can't get them. But for us common folks,
I have sandbags
they
and
show
large
up.
weapons in front of the driveway to protect the house.
But the point is that you've got to have a process. You've got to know who you're trying to attract. You got to Darren's point, you got to make sure you're in the right medium to reach those ideal clients. All things that are very easily done, but you've got to take the time and commit to sitting down and walking out the process.
100%. 100%. So let's give you some action steps. If you're going to start marketing, if you're doing nothing, I want you to post once on your Facebook business page one day and once a day on your public page. Just share it from your business page to your public Facebook page. I want you to do the same thing on your LinkedIn page, your Instagram page, and leave it at that. So 3 posts that can be one post can be shared in 3 areas, right? If you are confident enough to do it, and some of us aren't confident enough about going live on Facebook, 2 times a week, I want you to make those posts live Facebook posts. And I want you to share them on 2 other social media outlets. Is that fair?
It's fair. And
it's reasonable.
It's very reasonable. We're talking about a very small investment of your time, which is the most valuable thing we all have. And so, but it can over time, it will generate significant outcomes for you. You've got to be consistent in it. You've got to be committed to the process. We've got 3 or 4 different campaigns that run with our organizations, and you've got to just commit to the process and continue to walk it out.
And I don't want you to spend any money yet. I want you to play with this for about a month and figure out where your ideal client sits. See what kind of traction you're getting. Ask your friends to share your post.
Again, if you guys need some guidance on how do you find out who your ideal client is, reach out to us. We can give you some tools that'll help you do that. It's very, for me, because the way we have, and I want to share how we have to do it. That's terrible at taking a printout that lists all the questions to find out what your ideal client is, because that's just not how I process. It's not how I think. So what we always have to do is sit down in a room with a whiteboard, and I'll talk it out with Dave on what I'll read the question, and when I talk it out, it's fine. So don't give up. If you don't, find somebody that you can walk that through. Call us. We'll be happy to walk. It's a 15-minute process, to really get the brain working and really start flowing and thinking about these things. But don't give up on doing that, because that is the absolute first step.
If you haven't done that, then don't even get on Facebook or
Right.
anything. So you don't know who you're talking to.
Right.
But I want you to test it out. And if you're 20 something or 30 something, and you get this and you're doing well already, and this is way below where you need to be. We are talking to business owners that are trying to figure out how to grow their business and haven't leveraged their marketing at all, or haven't done any social media marketing, because we can spend a lot of money on mailers, which aren't bad. They work. We can spend a lot of money on billboards. We can spend a lot of money on TV ads and radio ads. They're all good avenues. It just depends on where you are in your business as to what marketing you need to do. But the first thing you have to do, I don't care who you are, is make people aware that you exist, what you provide, where you are, and how you can solve their problems. That's everything your marketing should be focused on all the time.
Yeah.
Because awareness is an ongoing thing. I mean, my wife and I have a running joke when we see a new restaurant. How has that been in business 20 years? We've never eaten there.
Yeah.
Right?
That's good. I mean, and then you go into places and going, how have they been in business for 20 years?
So again, awareness is important. And what you'll find out if you're in a city is that if you have a brick and mortar business, most of your clients are probably within a 3-mile radius of you, unless you're a specialty shop, right? So really focus your marketing on that. If you're gonna do a mailer, focus it on your local area, right? If you're a mail-in online business, different discussion. I'm talking about local brick and mortar stores. So hopefully you're getting some ideas of how to start a marketing plan that won't cost you a lot of money, won't take you a lot of time, but it will start getting you noticed.
And I would also encourage you guys, we love TED Talks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Some great content on marketing on TED Talks as well. You got to hop on there and go check those out. There's a lot of really good podcasts out there that dig in deep to marketing. They'll dig in deep to the different areas. Again, a warning, be very careful that you don't get sucked into I've read 6 different articles. They've all 6 said something, because that will overwhelm you. So just try to glean good stuff that you can apply, that you can go out and start doing right away, because that is the key thing to marketing, is the doing. You've got to have your ideal client identified, but once you have that, you got to go do it, and you got to consistently do it.
So let's talk about some people that have been around a while and are successful. So if you're looking at Facebook advertising, Amy Porterfield has a lot of challenges, programs, and stuff. You don't need to pay for anything. Don't go buy anything.
Sorry, Amy.
What you can if you want, but what I would recommend is start with her podcast.
Right.
Find episodes that talk to what you're doing. She has a few hundred out there to go through. Simon Sinek, another great guy that's been around and has credibility in the marketplace. Listen to some of his talks, look at his channel, see what you need help with, and then make a decision whether you want to buy their product or not. But what I would say is there's a lot of free resources that will help you. And I haven't even hit the tip of the iceberg, just 2 off the top of my head. If you want other suggestions, we can give them to you. But great business owners are always sharpening their sword. Great business owners are always refining their products. Great business owners are always providing great leadership to their team. Yeah. And great business owners are always making people aware that they're out there. So if you're not there yet, keep working on it. You'll get there.
Yeah. And again, consistency. You've got to be consistent in this. Don't do it for 2 weeks and then stop. Don't do it for 2 months and then stop. This is something you'll be doing throughout the life cycle of your business. I mean, this is a permanent thing. It will not go away.
And the last thing I'm going to say about digital marketing, if you are not in the weeds on what's going on, you don't know what your reach is, you don't know how many people you're reaching, the impact, you can't improve it. And there's some great digital marketing companies out there, and there's some that are not so great. What I would tell you is if you hire somebody to do that, you have to stay engaged on what's going on. They're going to spend a bunch of money and you're not going to have any results. Yeah. So you got to take ownership of that. And it doesn't take a lot of time to do that. But I don't want you to go out and waste a bunch of money thinking that this is the silver bullet. This company is going to solve my marketing problems. You need to, as an owner, understand what they're doing and have those weekly updates as to how you're performing and where adjustments need to be made.
You got to be careful. We've got a gentleman that we've known in the past that went and spent $50,000, $60,000 to go to one of these week-long how to create sales funnel courses.
Yep.
Last time I talked to him, he's still trying to get his first sales funnel going, and he's 50 grand into this thing. And so just be careful about that. I know there are people out there that I'm sure have done that have had success doing that. But you've got to really be self-aware and understand what are you capable of doing? What will you do? More importantly, because we're all capable of some things that we won't do because we don't like doing them.
That's a fact.
It's
not in our wheelhouse.
Yeah. So just be cautious about that. There's plenty of free resources, a lot of great places to go to get a start, and then you can grow into those other things if you so choose.
Yeah. We want, this is focused on small to mid-sized businesses. We want you to grow. We want to offer value-added tips and some how-tos to get you started. Again, if you have any questions, reach out to us at info@exsin.co. You can call us. Our number's on the website at www.exsin.co. You can stop by our office in Edmond. We're on Google. Just Google EXSIN. You'll see our office. We're right there.
Come have a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Or water.
Or we'll go eat lunch and hang out.
Oh, big fan of eating.
Eating's good.
Big fan.
We got a big lunch Friday. I'm pretty excited.
We do.
We're going to have a fancy lunch on Friday.
We'll have to go take out a small business loan to pay for that thing. Good Lord.
So you guys get out there, get marketing. Next week, we're going to talk about sales. We're going to walk you through the 8-step process you need to do to ensure you create sticky clients. It's called Primal Sales. We're excited about it, and we're looking forward to see it. Phil, you got anything else?
I want everybody to have a great week. Finish strong. Enjoy yourself. Again, if we can help you with anything, reach out to us. We're here to help.
Hey, Dave and Phil with EXSIN Live. We'll see you next Wednesday. We are out of here.